Hello my crafty friends, Corrine here from Corrine Crafts. I hope you are well. I set out making a card, but it changed along the way. Here is the card that I've made. Isn't this absolutely beautiful? It just is just so fresh and spring-like, isn't it? Now, the card I set out to make was going to be portrait. It was going to have the sentiment across the card like that. It was going to have a button and a leaf, and that was going to be about it, and a bit of string. I couldn't find my buttons. I've lost my button box. I don't know where it is. If any of you know where it is, please tell me. I just think I'm going to walk in here one day and just see it. It's somewhere in here, and I don't know where. But I found this flower from a previous project. So I found the same card in my scrap box, because we keep everything, don't we, in our scrap boxes. I was able to cut another one to do a double layer flower. I then ended up turning the card around because I wasn't getting the right proportions portrait, but landscape, it worked really, really well. So don't be afraid to change your mind about what you're making, even if you're part way through. It's not wrong. Nobody else knows where you started from. And this is what I came up with. I'm going to show you now, and you'll actually hear quite a lot of my thought processes and my ramblings as I change what I make and how I design the card. I hope you like this one. This is a Spellbinders embossing folder. It's very different. They're reversible embossing folders. This is what I talk about digging deep into your craft staff. So you can emboss with this and letterpress with this. We're just going to emboss with this. Now, if you emboss with it that way, you're going to get flowers and butterflies. If you flip it over and emboss that way, you're going to get just the flowers. So that's the side I'm going to do. So I'm going to put my card into there. That's going to go in there, and then I'm going to pop that through my die cutting machine. So it's just a regular 2D embossing folder. So it goes in with one cutting plate and then the second cutting plate, just as a regular one. So I'm going to emboss that. And this is what you get out. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? So like I said, if I turned it around, I'd have got butterflies, but I did it that way, and it just does the flowers. I think it's really clever. Now, in case anybody asks, that's 4 inches by 5.5 inches. So I hope you like that sort of size. And what we're going to do is I found some green glitter cards. It's a beautiful, I'm going to do some lovely colours with this card. So coated cardstock, so it's definitely something like your tacky glue that's not going to damage your coated cardstock. Put it across. Now remember, your glue will dip down into all the nooks and crannies and crevices, so don't be too stingy with your glue because it will seep around. And again, with glue, that means I've got time to wriggle about. I've gone up 1/8 of an inch for each layer that I've done this, and that's just gone on slightly wrong. You see, I wouldn't have been able to lift that if it hadn't have been a wet glue, if I'd have gone with a dry glue such as a finger lift tape or my red liner. There we go, much better. There we are. So put that on there. I mean, that looks lovely, doesn't it? So fresh with that green on the outside. I love that. Really pretty. And that is going to go on to a white layer. So I really do like to alternate my layers. So I had some green. It's the same green, but it's in the satin finish. But you wouldn't put... I didn't want to put the green onto the green. So this is why we're having the white layer. But as always, I've gone in with my sticks to foam tape, so that's going to work brilliantly. Just 1.6 mil, I believe it is, so that is brilliant. So I'm just going to, rather than use my best tacky glue, we're going to just use my sticks to PVA glue onto there, just again to give me that wriggle room, because I've gone up again by another 1/8 of an inch. An 1/8 of an inch is really hard to measure. So that's going to go in on there, and then we're going to pop that just, oh, you see, it's not quite right, so I can lift it and I can try again. There we go, much better. Always give it a lift up just to have a look, check you're happy. So we've got that one on, so we've got the white flat onto the green, and then we've got a little bit of height. So that is then going to go, tack it back to my tacky glue on to that satin green. So I just think that is really, really pretty. This card, I think, is going to be really quick and easy to put together. So, now, this is a little bit different for me, isn't it? So when I was getting this ready, I've got so many pre-made card bases, as I'm sure you can imagine. And this was a 5x7 card base. again, I could have, if I wanted to do tenfold, I could have gone that way. Actually, that's just given me an idea. I'm going to change my card. I was going to go that way, and I did that and decided it was too big. I'm now going to turn that tenfold. You see, my cards develop as I go. I can go back to my best wishes, I think. Okay, I'm not going to stick it on just yet. Change of plan. It's going to be a tenfold card now. Yes, I like that. Because this folder goes either way. Oh, I've got little pearls attached to my table. Dear me, they're everywhere. Okay, you could come in on a pearl on each of these centre flowers. That would look lovely. Let's move that out of the way because I don't want my camera to pick it up. Now, when I was getting this card ready, as I said, I was going to do it with a button. Can't find my button box. How can one have lost a button box that big? I don't know. But I looked in my box of pre-made flowers and I was able to find this one. It was from a previous project. If you go back through my projects, you'll find this. It's Julie Hickey's flowers. They are the hand-picked florals. So you get the stamps and the dies. Look at these. They are so well loved. They are gorgeous. But Julie Hickey's stamps are amazing. So for this one, you get the stamp and you get the die to work too. So I already had that one made and I went rooting in my scrap box, and this just shows I keep everything. And I had another piece of this, so I was able to stamp a second one out. Now you could just use a single layer. I'm not very good with single layer flowers. Just doesn't work for me. I don't know why. So I always like a double layer flower. So I'm going to take that, but just have a look, see what you've got. If you haven't got any stamps with dies, you can just do regular stamps. You could have a look at your Chloe's Creative cards. Her flower stamps are gorgeous. Now I have done it on there and I haven't done it on this one because it's a new one. I'm just going to just cut down to there. There you go. You can tell I wasn't planning to use this. I was, like I said, I was going to do a nice small button, but then I can't find it. How can I have lost it? It's really bothering me. And it's been missing since I realised yesterday. It's got to be in here somewhere. I said to my husband, have you seen my button box? He said, I don't know. He had a button box. I said, yeah, I've got a button box. I can't find it. He said, well, it's got to be in your craft room somewhere. I know it's got to be in my craft room, but where? Where? I don't know. All right, I'm waffling. Okay, so I've now shaped that, and it shapes so much more for cutting down like there. And then all I'm going to do is put a little blob of glue, and that, no, that one doesn't match that one. That one matches that one, so I'm going to turn it 880 degrees, put it there. Even though this is paper and not foam, I'm still being quite light on my glue. You need enough to make it stick, but you don't want too much. Don't like that. That wasn't twisted enough. There we go. I don't go too heavy on the glue. The glue can ruin all your hard work. So just hold that long enough for that tacky glue to grab. Look at the dimension. You're going to keep that dimension by pressing the ball tool into the mat. It's going to grab, and you can give it a bit more shaping if you want. I couldn't tell you what this paper is, I'm afraid. Like I say, I just went to my scrap box and was able to find it. So next I'm going to grab a little bit of 3D glue, and the only reason I'm doing 3D glue rather than tacky glue here is that's like a little bowl, and I've got a flat backed, it's not even a pearl, is it? It's a gem of, maybe call it. So it's not going to go all the way down to the bottom. So by putting the 3D gel in, that's going to go on there, and then it's going to hold it at the right height, and I can just press that. I'm not going to press too hard, because if I press too hard, I need some more glue in there. That's not got enough glue in. Oh, the glue's going everywhere. Let's take that off. Not got enough glue. We need a bit more glue, but we now need to clear up the mess I've just made. There we go. Let's put a little bit more glue in there. It needs to hold it. There we go. There's times when you need to be cautious with your glue, and there's times when you need to be a bit more generous with your glue. I'm going to do this with my hand. There we go. That's sitting much better. There we are. And I can bring the petals up round the gem, for want of a better word. How about that? Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? I just found that in my gems tray. Okay, so the next thing I did, I wanted to create some leaves. So I've got these dies. Now I do link to these, but I wouldn't recommend these dies. These dies I got off Amazon, but oh my goodness me, they are hard to cut. If you're going to cut with these dies, you need, look, you'd see where I've been cutting with them. You need your Polly Pocket or your plastic sheet. I get mine from Carnation Crafts, Cut Tidy it's called. Otherwise it won't cut with these. Even with my Cut Tidy and an extra shim, I couldn't get all the way through my glitter tape, my glitter paper. But actually I might keep those, because if I wanted a solid leaf with detail, these would work. But what I actually wanted was, I wanted them open like that. So I gave up on the glitter and decided to go with the satin. So it was just a little piece of the scrap. So, you know, we've got the satin, we've got the glitter. Didn't work with the glitter, so we went with the satin. So yeah, that was all it was. Okay, we're going to put this together. This has come together nice and quickly, hasn't it? But it's not the card I was planning, even as I started the video. So let's come in with my sentiment. I think I'm going to go with some foam pads. I've got a couple here. I'm just going to pop that back on, and I'm just going to give that a trim. It's just a fraction too big. Let's get a couple of those. And I will use a little bit of 3D glue as well. So I'm going to put one on. You can tell they've been in my box. That's so old, but when I take the backing off, that'll come off, so I'm not worried. So I'm going to put that maybe about there. And then I'm going to put my flower. Oh yeah, that works. Okay, so let's take this off now. Don't worry about that old bit stuck on there. They're going to come off, look, when I do this. Some of my foam pads are so old. There we go, that's come off. It's nice and flat now. And that one. And then I think what we'll do is we'll just put a little bit of 3D gel, just so that it soaks in around those flowers. And we're going to pop. Now, what I want to do is I want to break the edges. I think it looks really nice if you can go over the edges. Now, I want to show you this. This was really clever. So what I did with this was I put it on a piece of card and I cut it out. Okay, so you cut it and you've got that. But then what I did was I moved the die along and recut it again with just like that, so that I made it shorter. So even though you cut it once, if you then move it, because those teeth will pop into those grooves, and so you can just recut it again so that it's shorter, but you still got the double tails on it. Yeah, really like that effect. Just making sure that grabs. Next thing I'm going to do, a little bit more 3D glue. If you want to do this with a hot glue, that would work too. This will work perfectly, but it just means it takes a little bit longer. And again, this is going to break those lines. Isn't that lovely? So now let's get this foliage. This is not the card I planned, but it's so pretty. So pretty indeed. And then we can come on here. Oh, isn't that absolutely gorgeous? I'm loving that. Make sure that's straight. I think I want some gems. Bear with me. I'm going into my gems box. That took me a minute to find, but I did eventually. So I'm just going to get a couple of gems. I just want my tweezers. I'm just going to get a couple of gems, and I'm just going to do a little. Will it work? Will gems work? I don't know if they will now. Now I've started that. Tell you what I'll do is I'll get a couple. I've got a couple of small ones. 1, 2. I need a third one. It's not exactly right, but we can do it. Yeah, like that. That'll do. Wasn't exactly what I needed, but it works, isn't it? And there you go. That's my card made. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Like I say, I did myself a little drawing of what it was going to look like. It didn't look anything like this. But again, it's digging into your craft stash, finding what you've got. Oops, why's my card seal shut? There we go. Finding what you've got and making a card to work with what you've got in your craft stash. These Lisa Horton dies I've had since my Corrine craft days, and I left there just 3 years ago now, so that's a good while. These stamps are Julie Hickey ones, a sentiment. Now the sentiment I got from this set, I think, yes, this is one I bought secondhand off Lou Collins from her de-stash. So if you have a look, she's always de-stashing bits and pieces because obviously she has to demonstrate stuff. So go and have a look at Lou Collins charity de-stash on Facebook. She's always posting, and that's where I got those. And like I say, this Spellbinders embossing folder I think is a lovely one. So I hope you like that. Please let me know, and yes, I will be back with another video very soon. So until then, my crafty friends, thank you for sticking with me, and thank you for all your interactions. I really do love them. I'm going to pop a link there. I might see if I can find the card. I'll try and find it. Link to the one that I used that before, and as always, I'll link on this side to my subscription. So thank you very much, and I hope you like that. That was really quick, and we'll be back very soon. Bye for now.